Hey, this is Jessica Warren of Into the Warren. If you're new here, this channel is dedicated to the art and craft of crochet and a little bit of other things mixed in, but mostly crochet. If you are returning to my channel or you're a subscriber to my channel, first I want to say thank you so much for subscribing and tuning in and watching me ramble on about my crochet creations and any other things that are going on in my brain at the time. I haven't been on here in a few days and I apologize. I just wanted to kind of work on some things before I posted, and also this past week has been crazy. I think it was Jane of Scraptastic Yarns podcast who asked if it was a full moon, and the answer is yes, there was a full moon, and it was very obvious that there was a full moon just by the way people were behaving and just the general day-to-day interactions that I experienced. So yes, Jane, full moon was the issue. So today I wanted to talk about some stuff I've been working on, and if you want to keep up day to day on things that are going on in, as far as projects, I do have a Facebook and an Instagram where I share photos. I'm right now doing the 100-day project, as some of you know, where I post progress photos every single day for 100 days. And I'm really enjoying it, and I've been getting a lot of followers. It was a new Instagram 2 weeks ago, and now I think I'm almost to 80 followers, so pretty fast. And I'm also following a lot of people who are fellow crocheters and doing cool, fun stuff as well for inspiration and supporting them. So if you want to be a part and follow, I would love it. And I usually, most often, will follow back if I see that someone follows me. Or you can just tune into YouTube and I will post eventually my creations. So let me show you the stuff I've been working on. The first thing I'd like to show you is a completed elephant. Yay! I finally got him done. Isn't he? Look at how big he is. He is as big as my daughter. He's probably, I don't know, like 1.5 feet tall at least. Maybe just under 2 feet. He took almost 4 skeins of yarn, the Vanna's Choice in gray marl, I think it's called. It's kind of like that tweedy type of texture, but he is complete. And his little feet go out to the sides. You're only supposed to stuff the extremities halfway so that they can fold under. But I love him so much, and I asked my husband, I was like, should I try to sell him or should I give him to Brooke? And he was like, well, she has so many stuffed animals, but it's up to you because you made him. And I'm like, but I love him. I'd be so sad to give him to somebody. But I really love him so much. And the designer of this pattern, I talked to her. She goes, I'm starting to get a big influx of payments for patterns on my shop. And I go, well, I have been mentioning it, and on one of the crochet groups on Facebook, I think almost reached 2,000 likes. So I'm glad that she's getting some traffic to her shop, and I really am so happy with this. This is one of the coolest things I ever made. It took a long time, but also I did other projects in between. I will link the pattern in my video below if you are interested in purchasing this pattern. It is very inexpensive. I think it was a sale when I bought it. I think it was like $2.80 for the pattern. It might be $4, back to $4 again, I'm not sure, but still, that's such a affordable and cool thing to make. Okay, so elephant shown, and I swore that I would finish it, and I'm happy to report that I did. The next thing I'm working on, I think I mentioned in my first video that I'm going to be a great aunt, and I'm very excited about this. I love being an aunt. I am an aunt to one boy, one nephew so far, but I will be a great aunt to a great niece, and I'm very excited. She is coming sometime in the beginning of July. July 1st is the due date. We'll see. I've already made her a blanket and a sun hat, and my mother-in-law, her great-grandmother, said, please, I want to order a bunny from you. will you please make one for the baby coming? I'll pay you to give it to me to gift. And I said, of course. She's very supportive of my crocheting stuff. So I'm very glad for that. I think my mother-in-law's mother was a crocheter, and I think she's just like excited that I also do it. Kind of reminds her of her mom and seeing what her mom used to do. But anyway, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a bunny. I said, do you want it to be white? And she was like, no, not white, do some other color. So I said, okay. I use Patton's Heath Heather color, and I also was thinking, like, I don't want to put safety eyes on it because it is a little baby and maybe she'll want to snuggle with it once in a while. So I wanted to embroider the face, and I am not the best embroiderer. I also am very impatient, so sometimes I rush the embroidery parts. But with this bunny, it was just pure dumb luck that I was able to embroider a cute face. I'm very proud of myself. But anyway, she is a work in progress. She is missing a tail and an arm. But here she is. This is her. I made a little sleepy face. I thought a sleepy face would be prettier embroidered than trying to embroider round eyes on her. And she's supposed to be a snuggly bunny. There's her little ears. And she needs her other arm to kind of balance her head. Because right now it wants to go that way. So here's her. She has long legs and one arm. So yeah, I just got to do this other arm and little tail, and she is all done. And I really love her so much. I think she's so cute. I'm kind of sad to give her away, but it's going to my sweet little baby coming, so it's totally fine. But she is a work in progress, and I think it took me like a little less than a day to do this much, really. But I'm so proud of the embroidery on the eyes. Everyone's like, I can't embroider. I said, no, neither can I. It's just dumb luck, really. Dumb luck. I acquired a lot of yarn, as some of you may know, from someone in a neighboring town who was giving some yarn away. And one of the things that she gave me was some small balls of cotton, the peaches and cream cotton yarn, but it was in the colorway red, white, and blue. And obviously I'm very proud to live in America, and I'm patriotic, but I don't typically design a lot with red, white, and blue. It's just not really my style. I'm more of like a bohemian style, colorful, I don't know, it's just not my style. But I wanted to use it and try it, and my husband was like, Brooke really needs more washcloths. Where did you get them? And I was like, Target. But then I thought to myself, like, I have some cotton yarn, I could just make some washcloths. I mean, that would be using up some yarn that I wouldn't probably not normally use. Although I do want to use some of it for a 4th of July headband for her, like a really pretty headband. So I didn't use it all. But I practiced making a washcloth, as you can see. Next time I make one of these, I think I'm going to make it much smaller. Like maybe, I don't know, just fold it. If you hear laughing, my husband is watching Brooke while I film. He's being the babysitter at the moment, but I think I'd make it like more like this size, you know? It's a little big. I'm pretty sure I used half double crochets, and you know, I did this in the middle of the night, so I don't remember. But it was just like a Pinterest free washcloth pattern that you border with single crochets when you're done. And you know, it's kind of a cool pattern, the way the red, white, and blue is on it. It's kind of neat how that happened. So that's the other thing I made. I'm gonna make some more of these. And then another really awesome crochet podcast channel that I have been watching a lot lately is Billy of the Crafty Floridian. If you haven't heard of her before, I'm going to link her in the description. She's just so sweet, you know, and she lives like, I think like 3 hours away from me. She's just real sweet and funny, and I just like listening to her talk. about, you know, different things. She always tries to do kind things for other people. She just recently donated a bunch of, she had people make hats and send them to her, and she collected them, and she found a nonprofit that would take the hats to give to children who need them, who might be low income. I believe it's like an Appalachian something nonprofit. So really the children who live kind of in the mountainous areas, who have harsher winters, and just being able to give them some hats to help them out in the winter time. So anyway, I think she donated about 160 hats over that way. And she's also collecting granny squares for her brother to make him a blanket. I believe he has Alzheimer's. I might not have that right, but anyway, she is making a blanket for him and collecting granny squares from whomever wants to send her some. And I think it has to be DK weight yarn, and she recommends a J hook, but I think I crochet too loose to, I had to kind of go down a couple of hook sizes, but the overall granny square has to be 6 inches, and you can send them her way. Her mailing address is in the description of her videos, the Crafty Floridian, and I decided, hey, why not send a granny square her way, because I love granny squares, and if it's for her brother, why not? So I have a drawer of like random balls of yarn that had no labels. It does measure 6 inches, and it's one of those multicolor, you know, yarns. And this is the granny square that I created for Miss Billy for her blanket. And it's interesting, when you have a little tiny ball of yarn and it has multicolor in it, you don't really know what your project's gonna look like at first, because you can't see all the colors. They're hidden inside the ball of yarn. So when you're making like a granny square or any project, all of a sudden the color changes, you see them, and you're like, wow, I didn't expect it to look the way it did. It's almost like a nice surprise, you know? So this is, let me show you one more time. So this is like almost rainbowy, but it's like muted rainbow, and there's also gray in it, which I like. So, and it was funny because I hadn't made a granny square. Like, I've put my granny square blanket off for so long that I forgot like how many to chain at first. I had to go back to Bella Coco's granny square tutorial just to remember what to do. So it was a good refresher, and it made me it kind of motivated me to make more squares for my blanket. So I think that'll be one of the next steps that I do to finish that work in progress. Okay. The next thing I'm going to show you has been fun, but also a test of patience and a test of skill and reading ability, reading comprehension basically. So if you remember in my first video, I had the Inner Reef Crochet Winter Edition for this year, and I really wanted to make this cowl, as you can see. Let me show you a better picture. Let me get to the big picture so you can see. Here it is. This is the cowl that I planned on making. And this cowl is typically made with Red Heart Super Soft, but I don't have any, well, I do have Red Heart Super Soft, but wasn't the right color I wanted for this particular project. And it's a chunky, and you use the puff stitch, because this whole issue was talking about puff stitch and bobble stitches and the difference between the different kinds of stitches. So this was like a way almost to practice that, and I actually had never done the puff stitch in particular, so that was cool. But here's the thing, and I say this every video, and it can't just be me, because when I've pointed things out, people also are like, oh yeah, that's true, that's right, it isn't right. There are issues with this pattern direction. There's one part where you should skip a stitch, and visually you can see, like the visual part of the pattern, you can see where you skip the stitch, but in the written part, someone left it out. And there's just some like quirky things. Inner Reef Crochet, you should just call me and hire me, and I will test all your patterns for you and find all the glitches. So that was what I wanted to work on. I used a chunky yarn as it was asked for, and I used Premier yarn, and I showed it to you in my last video. Premier yarn in, hold on, all the yarn fell into the toy box and I'm pulling it back out, hold on. So I used Premier yarn chunky in After Dark, which is like this dark green. And this, it's a cowl, and this is what it looks like so far. You can see all the puff stitches, and then there are back loop only stitches and double crochets and single crochets. It's a whole lot of everything, and you can see the puffs there. It's very three-dimensional, and it's one of those long ones. It's gonna be taller, it's not done yet. I think I have like one more round of rows 2 through 6, which is, you know, a ways, and then there's like 2 rounds of another thing, and then you know, adding the border, so it'll be a little bit taller. But isn't it gorgeous? I think the directions were so challenging. I had to frog things over and over again because I misunderstood what they're asking me to do. And I feel like I'm pretty strong with reading patterns, but this one, it was challenging. But I really love it. I think it's worth it. But yeah, it'll be definitely much taller. But I really like it on the shoulders. I think it's cool. But yeah, got a ways to go. But this yarn is so soft. The color is just so, the yarn is so soft and the color is just so pretty. The other reason why I haven't finished it yet is because I only had 2 skeins of this yarn and I only have this much left. Not enough. Those puff stitches are 11 loops each one, and you do 4 per section, and it eats your yarn, and it's Easter, so Joann's is not open to buy more at this time. But when I have the chance, I will go to Joann's and get the rest of what I need so that I can finish this, and I really love it. And if I don't rip all my hair out doing it, I may make a couple, sell some on Etsy, and make some for some of the ladies of the in my family for Christmas. So those are the things that I have accomplished. It is Easter. I took my crochet Easter bag that I made that you probably have seen a few videos ago, and put the little peeps, the bunny peeps I crocheted in there with some Easter grass, just something simple because Brooke's only 10 months old. She actually turned 10 months old yesterday. And she, I just had like a little basket, and we took pictures of her in her Easter dress. There's one on my Instagram and Facebook if you want to see. It's really cute, holding her little crochet bunny. And then we went to Daytona Beach and went to the beach, and Brooke kind of got her toes in the sand and looked at the ocean, and I took a couple pictures. So it was a nice little drive. It's a beautiful day. It's not too hot. It's in the 70s. We had a crazy storm and then it cooled off, so I'm very grateful for that because I hate the heat. I don't know why I live in Florida, but I do. And we just got home. We're a little tired, but we've had a really good weekend. We've done a lot this weekend, and I feel happy and very grateful for my family, and I wouldn't want it any other way. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to write them below. I always answer them because I love answering them. Please go check out the Crafty Floridian. Please go check out Cheryl Bowles with Yarn and Hook, like I always say. Just search all the crocheters. Be friends and subscribe to all the crocheters because they're all amazing and they create beautiful stuff. And just have a great rest of your day. I will be back in the next couple days, I'm sure, with some more stuff to show you. I want to really try to finish up some of my works in progress. I know I say that all the time. I'm going to try. And yeah, that's all I have for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Happy Easter, happy Passover, whatever you celebrate, or just a happy Sunday, if none of the above. So, alright, well, I love you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you want to hear more. I will talk to you next time. Bye! Mwah!